is that significant progress has yet to be made across all of your ships and for the Army as well as for the Air Force. And I suppose we'll see the same thing eventually for the Space Force, that you are not able to maintain what you have. For the Army, you've fallen behind. The numbers tend to continue to decline for your major platforms. The Navy, you just answered part of the questions. There's obviously more. The Marine Corps, you've got some problems with your airframe, and obviously for the Air Force similarly. So what I want to do is to get down to the nuts and bolts of this. You're going to have to improve the maintenance of all of your platforms. Otherwise, we're going to continue to buy more and get less availability unless we improve the maintenance. In order to do that, you have relied in the past upon the developers of the platform. What I want to go to each of you is the right to maintain, the right for the information. Do you, and answer a question for each one of you, is it important for you to have the right to repair? And are you attempting to get that in your contracts? So let's start right on down the line, each one of you, the right to repair.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the question. Absolutely. You hit on both of the key points of this in your opening, sir. So, right to repair and the technical data. So the technical data, we believe strongly we have to do this early on in the contracting processes, and you've given us the ability to do that, and we're moving out with that process. But it's also in our industrial base to get the advanced manufacturing up and running so our soldiers can repair the gear that our supply chains just cannot keep up with so we can maintain our legacy system. Yes on both, sir.
Thank you, General. Admiral?
Yes, sir. Support the right to repair, support the ability to make parts in the Navy and not count on industry to do that. That can be through additive manufacturing, a number of things. Support the contract mechanisms to allow us to do that. Support additional training capability for the ability to repair for our sailors. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ranking Member, thanks for the question. Absolutely, going forward through the contracting process, I believe intellectual property needs to be part of that contract to get after it. And what I'm most interested in also is now looking back to previous systems we've bought to see what it would take for us to get some of the capability to repair these components. I believe the department's leading this effort, but there's numerous examples in the Marine Corps where this would make us better and increase our readiness forward. So thank you.
Very good. Air Force.
Ranking Member, critical issue, very important to us. I'd say the status of today is insufficient, right? We need data that gets down to the component and subcomponent systems so that our airmen can effect repairs. A lot of times today, our airmen are having to make the same repair 3 times. For instance, if there's a repair on an aircraft power unit and they have to go to another airplane, the part's not on the shelf, so they have to get that part off another airplane. Say it's a 2-hour job, 2 hours to get it off that airplane, 2 hours to put it in the second airplane, and when the part shows up, 2 hours to put it in the third airplane. A critical issue. We very much appreciate this subcommittee's help.
Space Force.
Hey, sir, I'll add on. I started my career as a young enlisted maintainer, so near and dear to my heart in some ways. Absolutely support with my colleagues here. Applies a little different from the Space Force as we think about systems in space, but our ground systems, absolutely, we have the same issue that the other services field, so supportive of both, sir.
I'm going to let it go at that. This issue has been before this subcommittee, it seems forever. We've not been able to push through to the industrial base. The reality that we're going to not give up here. Insofar as policy is concerned, we're going to continue to push so that you have the right to repair and the opportunity for the, and therefore the opportunity to better maintain your platforms. With that, I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Scott, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And General Nave, I don't envy the position you're in. We had a brief time to talk over the last week or so, but as you know, General George, extremely well respected, well liked by many of us. He and his wife, Patty, 38 years of service to the country, specifically the United States Army. I've read all of the news reports about why he was dismissed, but I would like to hear from you. Why was General George dismissed?
Sure, that's a question for Secretary Hegseth.
Okay.
And I've been the vice for a couple months now.
Okay.
We honored the service of General
Okay.
George and his wife
Well,
and the generals that were dismissed.
Well, thank you for that. I would like for Secretary Hegseth to answer the reason of why they were dismissed. And I think that the way General George and his wife Patty were treated will have a chilling effect on the way our services operate in the future. Prior to this, the Secretary of Defense removed 4 Army officers from the 07 list before their nomination left the DOD. Is that correct?
Sure, I think the list is still moving forward. I mean, our process, the process has been followed through. The Army provided the list to the Secretary's War's office, and it has gone forward. Whether those officers have been split from the list, higher, I'm not sure at this time. There's civilian oversight of the processor, as you know. There's multiple checks as it goes. And that, as it goes from the White House to the Senate, there's opportunities for multiple reasons for
Let me
for
respectfully,
officers
because
to be
I'm
pulled off.
on a time clock here, but my understanding is that somewhere around 3% of colonels are selected to move forward to become general officers. Is that number at least approximately accurate?
Yes, sir. Approximately accurate.
So of all of the colonels out there, they're selected by their peers and by their board. It's narrowed down to about 3% of the colonels that actually move forward to become a general officer.
Yes, sir.
And the reporting is that Secretary Hegseth individually pulled 4 names from that list. I'm less worried about the race and the gender than if he did or he didn't do it. Did he pull 4 names from the list, as has been reported?
Sir, you'd have to ask Secretary Hegseth that.
Okay.
I've been the
Well,
vice for a
if I
couple
could,
months.
if I could get anybody over there to respond, I would ask him, and I appreciate that. But I will say this, but I would like to know why if those 4 names were removed from the list, I would like to know why they were removed from the list. There may be a legitimate reason. Let me get to why this is important. The military expects its officers to provide truthful and honest advice versus being yes men to their leadership chain. Is that correct, gentlemen? Would all of you generals agree with me with that statement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If our top general officers are removed without justification from their positions,